So I really, truthfully, I didn't want to humble myself knowing where I was. So I proceeded and I moved to my sister's home and I stayed with her. Meanwhile, I was still dating this individual, and it went from dating to I ended up marrying this individual. And meanwhile, she's like, before that happened, um, we spoke, periodically. She would send me stuff. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. So now I have a new job. I start at the kind of the very bottom because I'm just like, I don't want to be in charge of anything. But then he found out my background that I was came from management, and they just kept moving me up to where I ended up running a full department of about 67 employees. And now I have this oversight, and things are going real well as far as that goes. But there are still issues, anytime you're in any type of leadership role. But I would never talk to her about what's going on at work. And however she was led, sometimes she would send me a whole book. And I'd be like, this chick, I was swipe. I'd be like, I don't want to read this. I don't have time for it. But then other times she would send something, a quick scripture, a verse that was right on par with what I was dealing with at that time at work and in my own life. And I wouldn't go really into it, but I would tell her, thank you, I needed that. And that was it. Just enough. But she would periodically, every couple of days would send these little things going on.
Even though you had a new fake wife.
Mm-hmm.
Did she know you were receiving these from your so-called ex-wife?
No, I wasn't. I was getting stuff from her. I wasn't getting anything else.
She didn't know you were receiving them.
No. But then that became a thing because now it's. So what do they do? What did they do for you? I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna do everything that they never did, and I'm gonna make sure. So it was always a comparison. I was like, you know what? Look, that's not what this is. So that was always an issue because the person was someone that she knows as well. So
his whole family knows.
Yeah, my whole side of the family, because someone from my past,
right,
prior to her. Okay, so but yeah, so she would send me stuff, and some stuff I'll respond to, some stuff I would just say, hey, thanks a lot. But even after that, I know in the very beginning when she found out, she was like, she was like, oh no, I'm done. The Lord still told her, no, you're going to stay. And then when she finally told me, even before I went through that she was standing, I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, really? How long is that going to last? You're going to find somebody better. I even told her that. Don't worry, you're going to probably find somebody better. You're probably going to move on. You're probably going to such and such. She's like, you know what? I could, but I'm not. Mm-hmm. So that's okay. You'll be back. I'm like, oh, here you go, you crazy woman. So I moved on, just kind of doing my thing. The Lord was doing something great for her. And meanwhile, we always, people always say, the grass is greener. No, it's not. If you water your own grass, you'll be just as green. The problem is we don't take care of it. We don't cultivate it. We don't fertilize it. We don't nurture it. And all this kind of stuff. And then, but you don't realize that once you even hop that fence and get on the other side, there's still maintaining you have to do, because the grass that you see that's green, that might be greener at the time, it's going to go through the same problems as the grass you just left. So while I'm in this new thing, there's also things going on with that. And you have to figure out, okay, I've never had to go through this before, and I've never had to deal with this before, and I've never had to. So while I'm dealing with that, I'm asking Lord now, what about her? What about my kids? Because the other thing is, I was also like, if I always said I would be good at anything, I thought that I would always be a good father.